Do this in avoidance: either step up or step out. 5 boundaries that make them respect you ***. Listen to this slowly. Not for them. For you. Because if you're here, it means you've already loved an avoidant the hardest way possible, quietly, patiently, and deeply. You didn't chase because you wanted control. You chased because you believed in connection. You stayed because you believed love could grow where safety didn't yet exist. And that's not weakness. That's depth. But depth, when unprotected, becomes self-betrayal. Avoidants don't respond to pleading. They don't respond to explanations. They don't respond to emotional overgiving. They respond to boundaries. Not ultimatums. Not threats. Boundaries. Because boundaries do one powerful thing that avoidance cannot ignore. They remove certainty without aggression. And when certainty disappears, an avoidant has only 2 options. Backhand index pointing right, step up. Or backhand index pointing right, step out. There is no third option. So let's talk about the 5 boundaries that don't beg, don't chase, and don't collapse. These boundaries don't punish them. They expose them. Boundary number 1, you stop explaining your feelings repeatedly. This is the first boundary, and the most painful one to set. You stop explaining the same hurt again and again, hoping this time they'll understand. You stop saying, "I just want you to see my side. I'm not asking for much. Please tell me what you feel." Because here's the truth no one told you. Avoidants understand your feelings. They just don't want to feel responsible for them. Every time you re-explain, you're unconsciously telling them, "I'll carry the emotional load for both of us." And once that happens, respect disappears. So the boundary is simple, but strong. You express yourself once, clearly, calmly, without drama. And then you stop. No repeating. No justifying. No emotional essays. Silence after clarity is not weakness. It's confidence. And when you stop explaining, something shifts inside them. Because now, instead of your emotions chasing them, the consequences of ignoring you start chasing them. This boundary forces them to ask. If they're not explaining anymore, does that mean they're done? And that question terrifies an avoidant. Boundary number 2, you no longer reward mixed signals. Avoidants live in the gray zone. Hot today. Cold tomorrow. Deep talks one night, emotional distance the next. And most people unknowingly reward this behavior by staying available anyway. You reply fast even when they pull away. You stay emotionally open even when they go silent. You accept crumbs because you remember the feast. This boundary changes that completely. You stop engaging emotionally with inconsistency. Not angrily. Not dramatically. Just differently. When they're warm, you're warm. When they're distant, you don't chase. You don't ask, "What's wrong? Did I do something? Why are you acting different?" You let their distance stand alone. Because distance without pursuit becomes uncomfortable for an avoidant. They're used to disappearing and still being emotionally held. When that safety net is gone, their nervous system panics. They start feeling the weight of their own inconsistency. And suddenly, they're the ones wondering, why aren't they reacting? Why do I feel like I'm losing them? This boundary teaches them one thing. Access to you requires consistency. Nothing else. Boundary number 3, you stop making yourself smaller to feel chosen. This one hurts. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that loving an avoidant meant asking for less. Expecting less. Being low maintenance. Being understanding even when it hurts. You told yourself, they've been hurt. They're scared. They don't mean to. But here's the line you must draw. Understanding someone's wounds does not mean volunteering to bleed for them. So this boundary is about expansion. You stop shrinking your needs. You stop minimizing your standards. You stop apologizing for wanting closeness, clarity, and effort. You don't say, "I know I'm too emotional. I know I ask for too much." Instead, you say calmly, internally and externally, "This is who I am." And you let them meet you there or lose access. Avoidants test how much you'll erase yourself to keep them comfortable. When you stop erasing yourself, one of two things happens. Backhand index pointing right, they rise to meet you. Backhand index pointing right, or they retreat to protect their avoidance. Either way, you win. Because you are no longer abandoning yourself for potential. Boundary number 4, you detach from their potential and attach to their behavior. Avoidants survive on potential. What they could be. What they almost said. How good it felt that one time. You fall in love with moments. They stay safe in distance. This boundary ends that illusion. You stop bonding with who they might become. You start responding only to who they consistently are. You don't argue about intentions. You don't analyze trauma. You don't decode silence. You look at behavior, effort, availability, emotional presence. And you decide based on reality, not hope. This boundary is powerful because avoidants sense when you're no longer living in fantasy. They feel it when you stop waiting. They feel it when you stop imagining. They feel it when your energy grounds into certainty. And when fantasy dies, avoidance is exposed. Because now they can't hide behind someday. They either show up now or disappear. Boundary number 5, you become willing to lose them. This is the final boundary. And it's the one that changes everything. You reach a place where you genuinely say, "I would rather lose you than lose myself." Not out of anger. Not out of revenge. But out of self-respect. Avoidance can sense when someone is afraid to walk away. That fear gives them control. The moment you release that fear, the power dynamic flips. You're no longer negotiating connection. You're choosing it. And this is when avoidants do one of two things. They step up because they feel you slipping beyond their reach. Or they step out because they were never capable of meeting you. And listen carefully. If they step out, they were never going to stay in a healthy way anyway. This boundary doesn't end love. It ends emotional limbo. The moment they start respecting you. Avoidants don't respect emotional endurance. They respect emotional sovereignty. The moment they see you don't chase. You don't beg. You don't collapse. You don't negotiate your worth. Something inside them shifts. Not always immediately. Not always consciously. But they feel it. They feel that you are no longer a place they can retreat into without effort. And that's when they either backhand index pointing right rise. Or backhand index pointing right run. Both outcomes protect you. Final truth. These boundaries are not strategies to get them back. They are filters. They filter out emotional unavailability, half-love, conditional presence. And what remains, if anything remains, is real. So do this. Set the boundaries. Hold them quietly. Let your energy speak. And remember, the right person doesn't feel threatened by your boundaries. They feel safe inside them.